Okay, hey everybody, I just muted everybody so you're all quiet. As people pop in over the next 5 or 10 minutes, I will allow people in. So you may see the screen shift a little bit when people pop in. For example, actually somebody named Jess just popped in. Where did they go? And as people pop in, after we get started, I won't allow anybody in. That way we can really get to it and be focused. At this time, and I will repeat this, you'll probably want to turn off your cell phone ringer and the vibration or whatever would be distracting to you during this time. Welcome, Marcia and Jess. So the first thing I'm going to start with before we actually get started here is I'm just going to talk about the positioning. If you haven't meditated before and you're wondering about the positioning, my take on your body position, I'm sitting in a chair right now that I can sit up pretty straight in. The only thing, to me, it doesn't matter. And I've done a lot of meditation and I've done it cross-legged, which is very uncomfortable for me unless I'm propped up properly. I typically meditate in chairs. Sometimes I'll meditate laying down, but typically I'll do it I have a favorite chair that helps me sit up straight without having to work. Whatever position you choose to do, my main consideration in terms of the body position is that what I don't want to do is have to fidget in 5 minutes. So whatever position you're in, I just suggest that you get pretty comfortable. For example, if I was cross-legged, in about 5 or 10 minutes, I would start getting pain. And then that would disrupt the whole point of what I'm trying to do. Now, some people would say meditate through that, and I do not go with that, especially for tonight. I would not say that. So I just think my feet are flat on the ground. I'm just in a straight chair, but just get comfortable and take however many minutes until we get started to get comfortable. So just get your body really comfortable as I'm talking over the next couple minutes. No, I'm not sick. And I have been very conscientious about the social distancing, but I'm not even going to talk about that tonight. Let's just do the thing. So what I'm going to start with tonight is I'm going to start with a couple of minutes of a breath exercise. And this is safe. There's nothing to be worried about with the breath exercise. The breath exercise that I do may feel weird or uncomfortable, but it is safe. So I won't have you doing anything that's unsafe. And we'll do the breath exercise for a couple minutes. And then what's going to happen is you're going to feel very grounded. Your body is going to feel very stabilized. You're going to feel very solid in who you are. And you can watch and you can have your eyes open during that, or you can close them, whatever you want. I will probably close my eyes for part of the breathing exercise, but then we're going to get into meditation. So after we do the breath work, we'll get into the meditation. Once we start the breath work, I won't let anybody else in because I don't want anybody to be disrupted. And after we're done with the breath work, then I'll go right into the meditation a minute or so afterwards. And then we're going to sit for about 15 minutes. During the meditation, I will interrupt a couple of times. I hate to say anything, but there will be times when I'll say something just to kind of guide you and help you, particularly at the beginning of the meditation. I'm going to use an app on my phone, and the app that I use is called the Insight Timer. There are many free apps, but I use the Insight Timer, and it looks kind of like this when it's opened up. And I have different types of meditation set in here, and it has guided ones. I never use the guided ones. I've tried them. I just like to do my own thing. Most of the meditation that I've learned is called Vipassana. I'll explain that in a moment. And what will happen when I press start is you'll hear a bell. And that bell just means that we're getting started. Now you'll hear me talk a little bit after the bell, and then I'll be quiet. You're going to hear a second bell. When that bell happens, 10 out of the 15 minutes will have gone by. So at the second bell, that means we have 5 minutes left to go. For some of you, it's going to feel like a really long time. And for some of you, it's going to feel like it wasn't long enough and you could have gone for another hour. But we'll go for about 15 minutes. Now, when I'm done with the meditation, when the second bell goes off, When the second bell goes off, so well, actually the third one, first one will start it. The second one will be 10 minutes in, telling us we have 5 minutes left to go. And the third one will indicate that we're done. When we're done, I do not like to come out of meditation abruptly. I like it to be very gentle. My body is very regulated. My nervous system is very regulated. I don't like it to be jolting. So you'll hear the final bell. And at that time, you'll see that I'm not really going to move. And I'm just going to start taking some deep breaths. I'll move my neck a little bit. I might move my hands a little bit, my shoulders. I'm just going to very gently sort of start to open my eyes and come back into the room. Usually the colors look different when I start to open my eyes after meditation. Things are brighter and more vivid. For me, you're going to have your own experience, and we'll hang out for a little bit afterwards, and people can hang out with us or not, but people can sort of share what's going on with them. If you have any questions, put them in the chat now, and I'll get to them before we get started. The Insight Timer, yes, that's it. It's free, and I've been using it for years, and I love it. It's very simple. You can program your own. I even have one programmed where it does 20 seconds. Every 20 seconds it goes off, and I do a breathing cycle every 20. Like, there's all kinds of different things you can do. Okay. So at this point, if you have any questions, ask it now. I'm going to start describing the breath work now, and I will be able to continue to look at the chat before we start meditating. I will still be able to. You are welcome. You are welcome. I'm looking forward to it too. I will completely not let anybody else. Oh, there's a new person, Sue. I will not let anybody else in after we get started. So now I'm going to describe the breathing. So basically, the breathing that I'm going to teach you, the meditation I'm going to teach you, is called Vipassana. And I'll explain it in a moment. And the breathing that we're going to do before is called two-stage, or it's called, it starts with an H, I forget the name of it. But basically, the two-stage breath, it looks like this. So basically what's going to happen is you're going to breathe into your belly first and then chest. And it looks kind of like this. It goes. And we're going to do about 30. And I'm going to be counting in my head about 30 breaths. Don't worry if you're not in flow with me. Don't worry if you get confused during it. It doesn't matter. Just get back to it when you're ready. When we do this breath, some of you may feel tingling in your hands, or cold on your face, or warm on your face, or everybody's going to have these different experiences. But you are safe. It's all good. And when we're done, after about 30, I'll count roughly 30, what you're going to do is you're going to exhale. So you're going to go, and you're going to hold your breath. On the exhale, it's not a contest to see how long you can hold your breath. That's not the point. When you're ready to breathe again, just start breathing normally, but just hold it on the exhale. You're going to be super saturated with a lot of oxygen. This is going to allow you to balance out oxygen and carbon dioxide again. Hold it on the out breath. When you're ready, breathe normally, chill for a minute. Then I'm going to do that one more time. We're going to do 30 more breaths, and then we're going to hold it on the out. After that second round of breath, don't worry if you're not catching all the details. You'll see me. I'll be right here explaining it. After the second round of breath, we're just going to sit, hold our breath on the out for a few moments, 5, 10, 15, 20. Some of you will be able to go a minute. It's remarkable. And then you're just going to sit, and then I'm going to start the bell, and we'll start the meditation. At that point, you may really want to close your eyes and just sit. The meditation I'm going to teach you is called Vipassana, and it's really just getting present in the moment with what's going on. I'll be talking for the first couple of minutes, and then I will be silent, and then you'll hear the bell, and I'll explain all that. Any questions before I start? Okay, here we go. We're going to start. I'm not going to allow anybody else at this point, so I'm going to close the participants thing. And nobody else will be allowed in after this point. Okay, we're going to start with the two-stage breath. It'll be stomach, chest, out. Try to make them nice, full, big breaths. And here we go. It's about 10. $20. 30. Hold your breath on the out. Breathe normally whenever you feel like it. You can add in the chat if you want to add how you feel. I feel tingling in my hands. I felt very warm on the front of my body, but I feel very grounded and firm and rooted. If you want to add how you feel, that's fine. We're going to get started with round 2 of the breath in just a moment. Tingly and warm, worm. Awesome. Okay, here we go with round 2, our final round. We're about halfway done.
It's 8:15.
Last one. Breathe normally whenever you're ready. If there are any final comments or questions, add them right this second. Otherwise, I'm going to start the actual 15-minute meditation in just a moment. When I start the meditation, if you want to stop at any time, stop and go on with what you need to do. If you want to stay with us, stay with us. After 10 minutes, you'll hear the second bell. So I'll hit it, there'll be a bell. Then there will be a second bell at 10 minutes, letting you know there are 5 minutes left. When there are 5 minutes left, there'll be a final bell after that 5 minutes. And remember, we're going to come out of it gently and slowly. Okay, I'm going to hit the start button, and we have a 10-minute, what's called a warm up on this timer. And whenever you're ready, you can close your eyes if you want. Awesome. Thank you who mentioned that with the husband. Okay. I'll explain more about that later. So now we're in the meditation. You can close your eyes if you're ready. Usually, what I do when I meditate in the first moments is I think about anything I need to get off my mind. If I want to do a little prayer, if I want to think about the last thing on my to do list so I can forget about it. But usually, I'll start with kind of a prayer or an intention or a wish. In this case, I'm going to share mine with you. My wish is that everybody is healthy and safe, and that everybody is feeling healing, and that everybody on earth, on the whole planet, all beings, everything on the earth gets to a healthier, happier, better, higher place. In this Vipassana meditation, what I'm going to suggest you do, and you can completely ignore me, is I'm going to start telling you things to notice. We're going to start from the top of our head, and we're going to go down to our toes, although I will not be talking by the time we get down to our toes. We're going to start at the top of our head. We're going to move down the body. Then we're going to go down the head, the chest, the shoulders, the right arm, the right leg, the left leg, and you'll understand exactly what I mean in a moment. At this point, notice what the top of your head feels like. Then start to notice the right side of your head, the back of your head, the left side of your head, your forehead, and just take your time and notice these things. So right now we're going to go over to the right side of the head and your ear, and you're going to travel around the back of your head to your left side and then end on your forehead. And when I say notice, some of you might notice the temperature of the air on your forehead. Some of you might notice crinkling in the muscles in your forehead, in which case you'll want to soften your forehead. Some of you may notice what your skin feels like, or any number of things. The warmth, the pressure. Now I want you to notice your eyes. Your eyes have 6 muscles. Each one has 6 muscles that helps them move in different directions. Your eyes work very hard all day long. You can actually soften them, relax the muscles, and let your eyes sort of fall into your head. Notice your cheeks and then relax them. Your jaw, relax. Your tongue, your lips, your nose even. Let your whole face relax. At this point, I'm going to stop talking. Just sort of follow your own intuition and just follow where you want to notice. Maybe you notice your neck. Maybe you notice all around your entire neck. Maybe you just go straight down to your shoulders. But there's no hurry. It doesn't matter if you get to your toes by the end of this. That's not the objective. All I want you to do is notice and don't judge it. And one of the hardest things that I found is if I have an itch, and you don't have to scratch it, but you can, there's no rules. But if you have an itch, that's an opportunity to notice it. If you have discomfort, notice it. If you have tightening in your stomach or your shoulders or your neck, or you notice that you always carry tension in your face or your forehead, notice it and let it relax. At this point, I'm going to be quiet. You'll hear the second bell and you'll know we're 10 minutes through. I forgot to mention, you might notice your mind chattering, the monkey mind. And you might notice that you're forgetting to meditate and that you're thinking about things. That's okay. Just come back to noticing your body. 5 minutes left.
It's 8:30.
You did it. Whenever you're ready, you can add in the chat. Let us know how you're doing. You can turn on your video or your audio. You can tell us how you're doing. How was that for you? I'm very interested to hear. I've done groups with kids. I've never done this on Zoom before, and I'm really interested. Linda, you unmuted yourself. Do you want to share?
I did. It was amazing. I started off with a lot of stress, and as you started talking, and when we started at the top of our heads, by the time I got to my shoulders, I did not feel the stress in my head anymore. And as we went through the 15-minute session, my whole body relaxed, felt like I was floating. I was very nice.
Yeah, we really down regulated the nervous system, and that's one of the greatest, especially for kids who have a lot of emotional dysregulation. This is such a tool to just notch it down. My 9-year-old buddy thought it was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of tingling in my fingers, probably just with the initial breathing, I'm guessing, not meditation. Kept losing track of my body and coming back to it, but was totally relaxed. Just let the mind go free. Yeah. The mind, and mind does this still. The monkey mind, we're sitting there, you're focusing on your shoulder, you're like noticing, oh, the shoulder. Next thing you're thinking, oh, the snow's going to melt. We're going to need to mow the lawn soon. Maybe I should plant grass. Oh, I bet the weeds are going to be like, yeah. And oh, that's right. I'm sitting here trying to meditate. It went well. Nice meditation exercise to get that. You're welcome. Will's more calm too. We'll do with Aiden tonight. Awesome. That's one of my local people. Hi, Sonia and Bulen. I like doing it on Zoom. Would also work the same way. Google Meet, yep, which is what our school is using to connect. Time went super fast. Yeah. Thanks, Joni. Good to have you here, Joni. Yeah, you can unmute yourself if you want to share. Does anybody else want to chat? At this moment, you all can stay or go, but I'm just going to hang out with people and see if anybody wants to share in. This is just...
It went very fast.
Oh, hi. Who's this?
Marcia.
Hi.
Yeah, it's the first time I've done that. I'm 70.
Awesome.
That was really impressive. I feel like I've had a 2-hour nap. I feel so regenerated. And I've got to make masks tonight.
Awesome. You're making
thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I have a bunch of people I want to protect, and whatever is left over, can go wherever it needs to go.
Thank you. And how was the breath part for you?
I liked it. It really, I didn't completely fill my lungs. I would have hyperventilated. But I kind of got into a rhythm with it. You were a little fast, but I got into a rhythm with it. It worked very well.
Yeah.
I can do this. I like this. You've taught me something new.
The breathing with kids is amazing. So sometimes I'll do 3 30 breath sessions, and you wouldn't believe with teenagers how they're like so grounded afterwards.
Wow. And
some of them, like, they're just effortlessly holding their breath for like a minute and a half, and then they're just like, and they're just the breath is so powerful.
Wonderful.
Carrie, I had some tears falling. I actually started having one in my right eye. I was really sad for a moment. Part of my mind went to sadness, and then it went to gratitude, and just that people are like, there's so many people doing so many kind things right now. So does anybody else want to unmute themselves? And
for me, I do best when it's kind of a combination of things I've learned. when there's some guided and then times to kind of do it myself. I struggled for those last 5 minutes. I kind of ended early because my brain just couldn't do it. But I was even surprised that I did like the first 10 minutes by myself. So that was good to know that that was kind of my limit.
That's the win. Yeah. 10 minutes. That's 10 minutes of success, of stillness, of practicing, and of what I talk about, the resistance. I think for all of us, meditation, we're resistant to it too. It seems so difficult. You're welcome, Carrie. Good night, Marlena. All right, Stephanie. Thank you. Denise, thank you. I'm looking at the comments. Kept your focus on the bodies. Some feelings come up. I'll mention that too. So what can happen with breathwork and meditation is that stuff can start to bubble to the surface. So it could be good feelings, really positive things, joy, gratitude, and it can be really dark things, heavy things, hard things. But it's sort of like we're so distracted in our world. There are so many distractions, and to sit still and notice what's going on in the emotions, in the mind, in the body, and just sort of notice it, it can bring stuff up. And hopefully it can bring stuff up in a really grounded, safe, healthy way where we can process and move further through some of the things. That's been my experience with this stuff. I couldn't believe I could hold my breath at the end of the breathing. Yeah, Joni, thanks for saying that. It is crazy. Especially because you're on the out breath. Usually when people hold their breath, they inhale and hold it. Here we exhale and hold it. And you're just like, it's so grounding. So thanks for saying that.
What is the thought behind that, Seth, of on the exhale, holding the breath?
Okay, so as far as breath work is concerned, there's someone named Wim Hof, a guy named Wim Hof, who's very known for a lot of breath work, and he has his own technique. This is two-stage. Holotropic is the other one that I kind of mix two-stage and a holotropic. I'm not a pro on this or anything, but the thinking, and I don't know how scientific the thinking is. All I know is it works. But the thinking is that as we're doing the breath work, we're super saturating our body with so much oxygen. And then the tingling has a name. I forget what it's called if there are any nurses out there. But when we don't have a ton of carbon dioxide, we've gotten rid of all of our carbon dioxide, believe it or not. So the idea on the exhale is that we are bringing more carbon dioxide, not oxygen, carbon dioxide in to rebalance it. So that's the idea on the exhale. There is someone named Peter McKinnon, who's a very well-known breathwork person who talks about the exhale as well. I think it's Peter McKinnon. So thanks for asking that. But yeah, the idea is that we have so much oxygen and we actually want more carbon dioxide. So we hold on the exhale and we allow that oxygen that's in us to move. I don't know the validity of that.
I just want to say something at the breath breathing at the end when
Hi, Joni.
Hi, how you doing? The out breath, I felt I came to such a place of stillness and calm.
It's very
I
grounded.
almost didn't want to breathe because I didn't want to lose that feeling of stillness and calm. So it's really cool. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's hard to explain that when you haven't experienced it, but that's when I say it feels grounding. Like I feel just very grounded. Yeah. Meanwhile, with the breath work, you can do it the guy who taught me this was my old friend Steve from Los Angeles, who's like an MMA fighter and a psychotherapist, a really interesting guy. And he's like, yeah, you can use it for going to sleep. You can use it for waking up, whatever. It really is true. When you wake up, you can use it to energize you. When you go to bed, you can use it to go to sleep. When you meditate, you can use it to get more stillness. But I use it a lot. It's just such a great tool. Thank you, Seth. Thanks, Mara. It's so good to see you, Mara. I find myself thinking at times that I could stop and take time to meditate, and then I tell myself I can push through and just keep working. I need to believe I get to meditate instead of seeing it as a have to. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I enjoy it so much. I look forward to it. But if that's the case with you with the Insight timer, and this is what I always tell the kids with chunking: start where you can start. So if you start with 1 minute, just in the middle of your workday, do 1 minute or 3 or 5. Don't worry about 15. It's more important, I think, to get in the practice. And then once you're sitting there for a minute, you might be like, wow, that didn't even feel like anything. And then you might have tricked yourself, which is another tool I talk to kids about. So you are welcome. And I see that that's private. So thank you. Anybody else want to share? I'm gonna